What is your stance when it comes to the gun violence we're seeing right now?
I just I think it's a mess. I think it's a messy situation. Unfortunate, that we gotta live in a world like this. But again, I feel like, today, society, and the government is really, trying to control us, through social media and stuff like that, versus, how they did through slavery. So, in a sense like that, with the bullying going on and all of that stuff, and people making it viral. Now, when people see that stuff and people see, folks getting away with shooting up schools and, shooting up places and, all that violence, or even cops, shooting back at people
Yeah.
and giving them some heart to do that. And then they get away with shit like that. Some people look at that. Some people purposely watch thug movies to be able to learn how to act like that. And then when you're exposing, all of this gun violence and stuff like that happening, that shit wakes up, fucked up souls for people.
Yeah.
And some people go out there and they get amped off of that shit. So, it's a messy situation overall when people just don't have a heart and a mind to think, before they take actions and, make risks. There's too many of our kids, not being able to live a decent life, or, to go outside and play at the. First of all, people don't even play at the park anymore. And, all because of, the violence and stuff like that. And I think that's messy too, because when I was growing up, we had to go outside and play. We didn't have technology. We didn't have all of this stuff. And, it was a decent world. We actually got to go out there, and live life and get to explore and stuff like that, versus now everybody has been controlled through social media and, technology to stay inside and to watch what everybody else is doing and to be like everybody else. So when all you seeing down your timeline is motherfuckers shooting and shit like that, what you expect for people to happen? That's just a door that's been open for the crazies to come out and start doing that shit too. But, it's terrible that it has to happen. That our kids can't even be able to live to see age, 3 and 4 and 5 anymore. That our kids can't even get a decent education, not only because the school systems are fucked up, but because, people are out there mentally, fucked up and going out here, doing that shit. People can't go to work, and stuff like that without some, weird co-worker spazzing out and then just trying to take everybody's life because, they weren't a good employee. It's a mess. I mean, that's all I got to say overall.
I mean, it's everywhere, right? That's the reason why I stopped, a couple of years ago, I stopped going to open mics. Because whenever you used to go to open mics, you had to be a fight. Because we used to have a lot of open mics here in Montgomery County. It got suspended because people were getting stabbed, gunshot, people are threatening each other, people claiming their personal set, and it's creating conflict. And next thing you know, people are getting shot. So, it's everywhere.
I think that's what people, claiming sets and stuff. And that's one thing that I would like to get into. A lot of people ask where I'm from, and I'm from the DMV as a whole. A lot of people from DC especially do not like, when somebody say they're from DMV as a whole, they try to separate and stuff. But see, that's the problem here. We're too busy trying to separate and segregate and shit like that instead of becoming one and becoming all together and becoming a whole and a family. That's the purpose in life. So if you want to live to go far and succeed, come together. Don't break each other apart. No matter what your differences is, it's just feelings and emotions and shit, that society has thrown out there for the world to have.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you turn around after you got cursed out or whatever, it's just words and emotions. That shit don't really do nothing to you for real. But as far as, repping hoods and stuff like that, I can't say that I'm the person to do that type of thing, because at the end of the day, it's just a neighborhood street block or whatever. I'm not giving my life for some street block that's going to be still, sitting here for white people to move and purple people to move and green people, anybody to just move in there, and I'm dead and shit. and everybody enjoying their lives and shit all because of some hood. But, you know, I am from the DMV because when it comes to me being born, I was born in DC. When it comes to me being raised, you know, brought up and stuff like that, I was brought up in Maryland. But when it comes to me, you know, getting my schooling on, you know, the opportunity to go to school and the opportunity to put money in my pocket to feed my family and feed myself, Virginia took care of me. Okay. So when you putting money in my pocket, I'm a look, you know, you here, we here, like we here, we definitely here. So DMV, you know, they raised me as a whole, and that's where I'm from. As far as separating, you know, anything because of gangs and, you know, all of that stuff like that, I'm not with that.
Okay, so let's talk about what we're seeing right now as you know, issue affecting women in general. Because recently we've noticed many powerful men are being you know, brought to justice because of, you know, those people using their power,
sexual allegations,
you know, to abuse women. So have you experienced anything like that? Or anybody close to you experienced something like that that you could relate to?
As far as I mean, I haven't. I've had, you know, folks, you know. Well, I used to be a dancer, so of course, you know, with that type of lifestyle, you're going to have people that come up that, you know, big-headed people or big shots that come in there and they use, you know, their money or their fame or whatever it is to try to get to you or, you know, get you to come through and all of that stuff like that. So I've been there and done that. But, you know, that was my profession with dance. That shit comes with it. It's a natural because what do you expect out of men, you know, coming to spend money on a half-naked woman or whatever. But as far as, you know, in general life and stuff like that, I haven't had, you know, any like sexual, you know, things going on with me, but it's a crazy thing because, again, with technology, it's expanding now. Instead of to communicate with people, it's expanding to expose people. Okay. So with that being said, you got to be careful on both sides because there are crazy folks out here, you know, that get money or want to get money behind exposing people, and they don't give a fuck how they do it. They just want to feed their, you know, family and themselves. So you got to be careful. But at the same time, you do have folks, you know, guys out here, girls even as well, you know, using you know, their level of, you know, how they get paid or whatever it is to harm people like that, you know, or, you know, they'll do little slick stuff on the side or whatever and then try to keep it on a hush hush and, you know, feed you money and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not no snitch bitch, you know, or nothing like that when it comes to a lot of stuff. But if I feel like I'm being disrespected in a way like that, you know, I'm going to come up right then and there and tell somebody. I'm not going to sit here and wait, you know, days, months, and years later until it linger on, until the shit, you know, really doesn't matter anymore, or until somebody else has the courage to go up there and do it because it looks silly on your behalf. So right then and there, you know, if you accept, you know, what's going on and stuff like that, even though we don't want it to happen, you know, we don't have to let it happen to us. If a motherfucker don't come up to me with no gun, and even if he come up to me with a gun, I'm not going out like that. That's just, that wasn't how I was raised. So, you know, I'm fighting for my life. I'm not about to let you touch me or do nothing to harm me and stuff like that and then go on and sleep at night or try to sleep at night. No, somebody going to know about this, or, you know, I'm going to do my best to get back at you. But, you know, I feel like some of that stuff, you know, is setups, you know, where people just money hungry, you know. A lot of it is true. A lot of it is fucked up that people can't keep their, you know, jammies in their pants and they feel like they gotta do all this wild shit. And there's too many women out here that's free and that's nice looking or not, but willing and able to give you what you want, you know, versus taking it from, you know, little kids or taking it, you know, from hard working corporate workers or, you know, whoever and shit like that, and then trying to keep them to have their mouth closed. But
so you think is the best approach to it is to for everybody who's being subjected to those kind of treatment to denounce it right away, not wait till like 20 years. Like you said, your credibility is not won't be valid anymore if you
Right.
wait 20 years to put it out, or you got paid for it,
Right.
and now after 20 years, now you're
Right.
coming up to say, to trying to talk about it when you already got paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
And even then, in a sense like that, even once you're waiting, 20 years or however until somebody else, blows up, then you want to do it. At the end of the day, even though you're posing as a victim, you have to understand, how do you yourself, feel at night when somebody is real life out here, some predator is real life out here, doing this to harm people like you. You waited 20 years, to expose the person or, come up and about. But within that 20 years, imagine how many people he or she could have striked. And you could have been that person, to just open up and be honest and seek some type of help for that individual and stuff like that. Instead of him, ruining, people 20 years down the line and stuff. So you got to think about that too. You can't just, think, oh, I'm the victim and I'm scared. What's there to be scared about? Because at the end of the day, we all got to go to our grave. So whether I go, living my life and stuff like that, or I go making sure that I don't, get messed around like that again, I don't care what you do or what you trying to do. I'm going to let you know this ain't right. We're not going to have this here. And if you think you're going to do this, you could just step in one of these offices real quick with one of these supervisors or something like that, because you got to go. I don't care what you do to my car or, all of that shit like that. There are legal ways to go about situations, from happening. And a lot of people, on certain behalves, you have to take things, the legal way. But a lot of people don't do that. They so scared and all of that stuff like that. And there's nobody in this world that's going to scare my ass, from me feeling comfortable to, go make my money or, go to this club or, be me in general. So, yeah, I'm going to speak up right away to the person and to everybody, that needs to understand that this person got to go and got to seek help.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll come to the last phase, right? Yeah. So just freestyle, or this is Tomboy Fancy, and you are watching GJE360 World.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right. So I want to thank y'all for having me. It's Tomboy Fancy. Remember, you can follow me, tomboy.fancy, on Instagram. Link in the bio for my music and everything. And then I want to thank. I gotta do that again because I couldn't see your shirt. DJ E360 World. Okay.
Just do it again.
All right.
I'll take that part.
Okay. All right, y'all. It's Tomboy Fancy. I'm in the building. You can follow my Instagram at tomboy.fancy. My link in the bio with all my music and stuff like that. Shout out DJ E360 World. We out here.